Heather Freeman with the Painted Playground, and I'm so glad to be here. I get to teach women how to play with paint. And yeah, and today I thought, the other day I was sketching in my sketchbook and sketching some flowers. So I thought I would paint those flowers in a little bit today and give them some color, give them some life, and give you an inside peek of my sketch in my painting process. And yeah, and I've got a little something to share, a little freebie download to share with you about the painted play process, and you can get that. I'm going to share a little bit about that in a little bit. So thanks for being here, and I've got some colors out today. Acrylics are so fun because you can play with them as is and use their rich colored pigment, or you can play with them as if they're watercolors. And I love to do that, especially in my sketchbook. So if you didn't catch that, earlier this week I was live and took out my sketchbook and was showing how to sketch some flowers. And these are some of those flowers, and they're just from imagination. I was sitting in the woods sketching, and could see some things popping up and got some inspiration from the things that were around me. But you can always say hi when you join in. Would love to see where you're watching from. And what was I saying? Some of my flowers are not. I don't paint realistically. I like to. My style is definitely much more whimsical and kind of leaning towards abstract. And so, I just love to play with shapes, and today I'm playing with color in my sketchbook, and then oftentimes these things, the things that I really love are the things that I then paint that just come to me, and I paint on my canvases, on my bigger pieces. So this is super fun. So I've just got a little bit of water and some paint, and I'm going to add mix the two together, and it gives me, I can show you the difference on another page. So if I was to use just the paint straight up, and definitely working with different paints. So this is more of a craft paint. The higher quality paints are going to have a stronger pigment, so you're going to get a richer color with your paint colors. So this one, and I can show you that sometime, but so this is just straight up color. All right, that's my red. And then when I want to make it more of a, just going to rinse my brush here. And actually I could have just dipped this paintbrush in the water and then started using it, and it would come out more like a watercolor. But I'm also just, another way to get to that is just taking some of that paint, adding some water to it, which I did over here, so I can see it's like nice and loose and soft, and I'm going to be able to move it around real easily. And I'll show you that paint stroke there. So you can see that looks so, if you've ever used watercolors, that looks a lot like watercolor. So let me find my page with my flowers. Got a lot going on in this sketchbook. So tell me, do you use a sketchbook? Is that something that you like to have with you? I love taking my sketchbook. I was laughing the other day at myself because I have a mentor, Connie, and she was talking about keeping one in your purse or your bag. And I was leaving the house the other day and wanted to grab my sketchbook. I was going out for a walk and just wanted to take it along with me. And I didn't know what bag I put it in, so I'm just not organized in that sense for being able to work out of one sketchbook and have it just for doodling or just for when I'm traveling. I'm kind of always grabbing whatever is available when I can get to first. So But I do like to have a sketch book and take it with me and just kind of download some of those ideas that are happening in my head that I want to then, inspire me to, like, if I get stuck at some point in a painting, I can revisit my sketchbook and get some ideas, get some inspiration. So I've got a little lollipop flower going on in there. I'm just going to add some color. Isn't that sweet? I just love these lollipop flowers. And let me see, I'm going to grab some green, and that way I can add a little to the leaves. Whoa. So I've definitely have been doing more. I've been in my studio a lot more these days, especially with everything going on. When life is busy normally, I use my creativity for just kind of regaining a sense of balance and letting that inner artist inside me out to play. It does a lot to feed my soul, and now with everything going on with the pandemic, I find I'm going into the studio even more. Let me just add some little lines. I'm not even, you can see that, I'm not even painting it in all the way, just adding a few paint strokes, and that feels really good and fun. Let's see, let's play with this leaf, and maybe I'll go back in and add some more details. Little leaf there. I'm going to play with these little dots that are over here. It's really just a light watercolor application of my paint. Let's see if we got some purple. So yeah, in times like this, you don't have to spend, 30 minutes, an hour, hours on end in your studio. You can really just spend 5 minutes here and there, 10 minutes. Just give yourself time to get away from it all. Adding some purple in there to my little daisy. I want to give it some color. Yellow over here. So tell me, do you like to use have you ever tried this? Have you ever tried painting with your acrylics and using it more like a watercolor paint? Kind of adding some water, thinning it out, and playing with it that way. Just a really fun way to do a little something different. You can see I added a little, and I can add some details to that. Some of those tulips have reds and yellows going on. Add that in here. Layer up the color just like we do. See that little tulip there? So yeah, these little sketches are super fun to play with. And sometimes I come back to them and give them some color and play around with them and kind of see where that takes me. Sometimes I just leave them as sketches. And I'm just going from flower to flower, just seeing what grabs my attention and what I wanna play with next. It's all part of the getting into play and letting yourself get into that flow, right? That flow of just having fun, seeing what happens, kind of letting the adventure unfold. All right. So let's see. This reminds me of a little nut. So let's go back to that lollipop flower. And we'll just play around with the swirl. See how you can just, even though it's a water, you've thinned it out and it's more of a watercolor paint now, you can still add those layers in and kind of put layers of paint on top of one another. Play around and have fun. But that's what it's all about. It's just playing, having fun, seeing what happens. Right? And that's what I put together a guide all about my painted play process. And it takes you through step by step in getting into the flow, staying in the flow, knowing when to walk away, knowing when your painting is done. And so you can find a link to that in the description today. I really wanted to share that with you because it's something I've worked on for a long time. I never kind of figured this stuff out on my own and found it in a lot of different places. Like, it just never found one place where it took me from start to finish. And so I wanted to make it easier for you. And so I put everything that I've learned into a guide for you. And you can download that at your leisure, so that you can have more fun, especially during what's going on right now and being at home, and the stresses are high. We are in endurance mode. We've settled in and we're going to be here for a little while, and so let's keep that positive energy going, right? We got to keep refueling ourselves so that we can keep enduring and get through this and be stronger on the other end, right? Let's be stronger. So I'm just going to keep playing. Would love to see if you've got a sketchbook and want to share some of your doodles with me. Go ahead. You can post it in our free studio group. Would love to see what you sketch. And maybe it's flowers. Maybe it's something totally different, which would be amazing. We all have, that inner artist is calling us to create different things. We don't all want to paint the same thing, of course. So I would love to see what you've got going on, and you can do that would love to see it in our free group. And I'm just going to keep painting, keep sketching. All right? So you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time at the canvas. All right. Bye for now, everybody.